It says it's recording, but I can't see anything.
I think the lens cap's on, isn't it, mate? There you go.
Right. I wish they hadn't all gone to Eurobike and left us in charge.
No, it's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Welcome to the GCN Tech Show.
This week, we remind ourselves of forgotten bike tech that's actually worth remembering and using.
We're also going to look at a new head unit from Stages, some new handlebars from Zipp, and 2 new 3D printed saddles.
Yeah, and if you are wondering where Jon and Ollie are, they're at a Eurobike, creating some amazing videos for us all. So happy days.
And so they've left us in charge. We don't really know what we're doing, do we? But thankfully, you're still in good hands because they've left us with some bullet points for the tech show. Now, with Jon and Ollie over on their Eurobike jolly, praying at the altar of all things new in bicycle tech, we thought that now would be an amazing opportunity to look at some equally amazing tech that's not new at all, but that you might have forgotten about, or even not know about in the first place if you're new to the sport.
Yeah, take, for example, one close ratio cassette. Yes, that's right. Nowadays, on pro cyclists at least, 11 to 28. Pretty much standard, 11 to 30 maybe, but rewind just 10 years and you'd be looking at 11 to 23 or 11 to 21. If you see one of those now, it just looks bizarre, like some kind of metallic corn on the cob. It's amazing.
They did get forgotten for pretty good reason though, didn't they? Because as we got more cogs on the rear cassette, the jumps between the ratios between each cog was reduced. True. Especially now that we've got to 12 speed with both SRAM and Campagnolo. However, if you ride on flat terrain quite a lot of the time, they can still be amazing, can't they? And if you're really picky about your cadence, there's nothing quite like having a single tooth jump between all the sprockets up to the 19.
That is true, that is true. Plus, as an added bonus, so forgotten are they now that if you go looking in your local bike shop, you will almost certainly find a close ratio cassette, heavily discounted at the bottom of the parts bin.
If you go hunting in my garage, you'll find about 5 close ratio Campagnolo cassettes, not in the bargain bin though.
I've got 4. 11 to 23, 11 speed Campagnolo cassettes. Weird.
In fact, if you do rummage any further through my garage, you'll also stumble across a whole load of nearly new 23mm tyres.
Really?
Just like the cassettes really, you've only got to go back 10 years to find pretty much every cyclist riding 23mm tyres, probably pumped up to 120 PSI.
Undoubtedly.
Since then, we've moved to bigger tyres, and undoubtedly there's a lot of evidence out there that says that they can be faster. They're definitely going to be more comfortable and grippier. Well, maybe. Are they always?
Wow. Yeah. And also no. Kind of depends, doesn't it?
No, well, that clears things up perfectly.
Yeah. Well, so basically, I think it's fair to say that a wider tyre can roll more efficiently, so with less resistance at lower pressures than an equivalent narrower tyre. So therefore, you can roll efficiently and in more comfort and be significantly more efficient when the roads are rough. But if you ride on smooth roads and you whack a load of pressure in your narrow tyres, then actually they can roll as efficiently. But here's the thing, a narrower tyre on most rims still to this day is significantly more aerodynamic than a wider tyre. And that, I believe, Dan, is down to the rule of 105.
No, yes, we looked this up, didn't we?
We did.
And the aero guru, and actually a guru of all things tech related on bikes for going faster, is Josh Portner of Silka. Rule 105 states that the rim must be at least 105% the width of the tyre if you have any chance of recapturing airflow from the tyre and controlling it or smoothing it.
Yeah, so basically, at 0 degrees of yaw, so head on, a narrower tyre is going to be slightly more aerodynamic than a wider tyre. So let's say, for the sake of argument, a 23 versus a 25mm wide tyre. But at higher degrees of yaw, the difference in drag between a 23 and a 25 on our ballpark new school carbon wheel, which is maybe 25 to 26mm wide externally at the rim, could actually balloon out in excess of 10 watts per wheel, which is pretty significant, isn't it?
Yeah, I think in fact you used that for your KOM challenge last year, didn't you?
I did, yeah, thank you for reminding me, Dan. Yeah, Zipp engineers recommended that I use a 23mm tyre on their Zipp 808 because they'd analysed the road surface on my behalf.
Which undoubtedly must have helped you, just not quite by enough, did it? Because you failed, unfortunately. Actually, talking of your videos, Si, one that you did last weekend reminded me of the next piece of forgotten tech, titanium frames, because you were over at Moots, weren't you?
Oh, not forgotten, mate.
Well, no, they're definitely not completely forgotten, but they're certainly less widely known amongst cyclists than I think they should be. Because I, for one, I've got some brilliant memories from racing on titanium bikes in the year 2000s. In fact, I won one of my biggest races on a titanium Lightspeed.
Did you?
Yeah.
What was that?
a stage of the Tour of Qinghai Lake.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to say the New Forest Boxing Day 10 again, but no, fair play, mate.
I don't know, I had a time trial bike from them.
Right, yeah, I've got to say, I do agree with you. Titanium is amazing. Yes, a titanium frame is never going to be as light as a super light carbon frame, and never going to be as aero as a super aero carbon frame, but it's not always about that, is it? Sometimes it's just about ride feel and quality, which titanium has in abundance, not to mention the longevity. It's just kind of, wow, this name's just like...
Well, maybe the reason for them being less widely known about is the fact that they're less widely accessible, really, from a budget point of view. You don't really get any sort of mid-range or budget titanium bikes for sale, do you?
No, you don't.
No.
You don't.
Right, this next piece of forgotten tech isn't strictly much to do with road cycling. In fact, it's nothing to do with road cycling at all, but a piece of technology I really miss are bar ends. Although they are making a bit of a comeback at the moment, but might need to be renamed from bar ends to bar middles.
Ah, yes. So you're referring to the EF guys at Leadville. Yeah, so there, to get a kind of, I don't know why they did it actually, but basically they stuck their bar ends inside the grips and their brake levers, which I guess when you think about it, like modern mountain bike handlebars have got a broader wingspan than your average albatross.
Some of them are wider than your average person's arm span.
Well, exactly. So if you stick your bar ends in the middle, that's probably actually where it used to be on a mountain bike 15 years ago.
Yeah, when we had bars that are about 400 millimeters wide. In fact, thinking about it, they're probably about the same width inside the grips and shifters as your hoods are on your road bike these days, which would make them, in that position, brilliant for climbing out the saddle and getting aero on those flatter gravel sectors. That's path.
What mountain biking is all about.
Yeah, dirty boys love all that stuff.
Yeah, and to be fair, actually, there is relevance to roadies. Of course, bar extensions are banned in competition by the UCI, but a lot of us aren't racing. And so actually there's nothing to stop us sticking a couple of little cheeky bar extensions in the middle of your bars, because it is tempting to do that whole pro style imaginary time trial bars, but it's just not safe. Whereas actually if you stuck a discrete pair of retro bar ends on there, job's good.
Yeah, no, it definitely doesn't look safe, that position the pros adopt.
No.
Now we're going to move over to some road tech again, which might be making a comeback because people inside the industry have realised that it was better than the so-called new development that was supposed to be better. Now we all know how frustrating the lack of a single BB standard is in both road and in mountain biking, in fact, or also how frustrating press-fit bottom brackets can be. And we've seen an increased number of people going back to threaded bottom brackets. This is something I've personally noticed whilst out at the Tour de France and the Giro the last couple of years. More and more pros and their mechanics are fitting threaded bottom brackets. Not least Peter Sagan in Specialized Shiv for the last 2 years.
That's right, so there's either old school bottom brackets like that or a move to new school threaded bottom brackets like T47, which is where you can fit a larger diameter 30mm axle in, plus proper diameter bearings in there, and you still get the benefits of threaded too.
I'm going to pretend like I know exactly what you're talking about and move swiftly on. Granny rings. Remember them?
Page 37 in there, by the way.
Oh, I haven't looked at that bit yet.
Granny rings.
Yeah.
Yes. They probably need some explanation, don't they, for some of our viewers. Basically, a granny ring is a super small chain ring up front, generally when you've got a triple chain set on. Yes, that's right. So we're going back probably nearly 20 years now, aren't we, I suppose? Originally, the tech came from mountain biking, and probably before that, although before our time, cycle touring, I would imagine. And for roadies, it was actually a saving grace because everyone was running 39-53, or before that 42-52 chain rings, and the beloved close ratio cassette, 11-21. And so at that time, you'd think there's an entire generation of cyclists that are now probably keeping knee surgeons in business.
Yes, yeah, there were some very low cadences going on 20 years or so ago. But the granny ring, or the triple chain set, was a pretty good answer to a genuine problem in cycling, wasn't it? Because like you said, up front you had some big chain rings, and because the cassettes were only, 7 or 8 speed, you couldn't have those wide ratios because of the huge jump between the different cogs. Just didn't feel right, did it? So in having a granny ring or a triple chain set, it meant you had some proper climbing gears for the steeper climbs, but still had that close ratio at the back.
Yeah, sounds ideal, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There was one problem. We couldn't use them.
Oh no, we definitely couldn't lose.
No, for fear of ridicule.
Yes. I mean, if you had a granny ring on your road bike, it basically, well, you might as well have had noob tattooed across your forehead, mightn't you?
Yeah, or just weak.
Yes. And neither of us needed any help in being described as either of those two, did we?
No, exactly. The tattoos are still on, aren't they? Having said that though, there were a lot of pros that used triples, weren't they, to great effect. Roberto Heras, notably, on the Angleroo in 2002. And even, I believe, triples were still spotted in the peloton of the Giro d'Italia as recently as 2007 on Monte Zoncolan.
Ah, yes. Well, do you know, I've got a story from the Monte Zoncolan when I rode it back in 2010, I think it was.
Oh, right, who was that for?
Well, answers in the comment section down below. That year, we felt great because we were one of the few teams who were able to use a chain set which had a 53-tooth outer and a 36-tooth inner. Came from Rotor. It was one of the few chain sets where that ratio actually worked and the jump between the two.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Hang on a minute, mate. I have a feeling towards the back there was something in here about no mentions of Cervelo testing.
I didn't mention them. That was you.
Well, everyone knew it. Yes. Page 49.
Right, whilst you're
Paragraph
looking at that, I'm going to move on to some more pieces of tech that are forgotten and probably won't ever have a use in cycling again. Number one, toe clips and straps.
Yeah, except for attaching team bikes to roof racks on team cars.
True. What about down tube shifters though? No need for them anymore.
No, except for retro cool town bikes.
True.
How about road bikes?
What?
Well, I mean, not literally, but there's so much hype, isn't there, around gravel bikes and e-bikes and stuff. You could be forgiven for actually thinking that the humble road bike is something of a forgotten entity. But no, never forgotten. I mean, there are times, admittedly, I miss being uncomfortable riding a road bike.
Yeah, those times are gone really. I hark back to those days, riding along a really stiff frame with 21mm tyres, pumped up to 120 PSI. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah. Labouring away in a gear far too big for it was good for us. Yeah, brilliant. Now, we jest, of course, but there are, I'm sure, ironically, I suppose, forgotten items that we have forgotten to include.
Yeah, I'm sure there are.
So get involved in the comments section. What do you think deserves a comeback? In fact, even better, what are you still using that you've been told is not good enough? And I wonder how many comments are going to be about rim brakes.
Well, yeah, I'm sure there will be a lot, but I'm sure there'll be some more interesting ones than that as well. Let us know in the comments below.
Hot new tech.
We've got some of that.
Yeah, we have. Hang on a minute. There is hot new tech at Eurobike, and actually, brilliantly, there is hot new tech right here in the GCN studios. Ta-da! Zipp have very kindly sent in a sample of their new all-road handlebar. They've actually got two, so they've got the Service Course 70 Explore, and then this one, which is the Service Course SL 70 Explore, which is even lighter, just 260 grams. Both of them, interestingly, are aluminium.
Now the trend, as many of you will know, with all-road bars is to have a degree of flare here. The problem with flare is that it can mean that your hoods are sort of angled in slightly.
Yeah.
And Zipp have clearly been thinking quite a lot about this. So what they have done is kept the flare to a minimum 5 degrees, which means that your levers will sit straight, but they've paired it with 11 degrees of sweep. So you still get that sort of wide, attacking, comfortable stance at the bottom, and it's wide, giving you more control.
That's right, 6 centimeters wider, you know?
Is it?
At the ends rather than the tops. Yeah. Kudos to Zipp as well, actually, for calling them all-road bars and avoiding the term gravel. I like that. I do prefer all-road.
I don't really care either way, if I'm perfectly honest. Moving on, it's not often that you get a huge new development in the world of saddles, but by chance, there have been two at once.
That's right. So yesterday, in fact, Physique launched their first ever 3D printed bike saddle called Adaptive. They've teamed up with a California-based company called Carbon, and I'm gonna need to read this down because it's very complicated. They've utilized their carbon digital light synthesis technology, which uses digital ultraviolet light projection, oxygen permeable optics, and programmable liquid resins to produce parts with excellent mechanical properties, resolution, and surface finish.
Put slightly more simply, you'll get a 3D lattice structure that can be tuned in a way that traditional construction techniques can't be. Also, rather interestingly, the data for that tuning comes from almost a decade of data, which comes from looking at riders' asses in the pro peloton.
That is a lovely thought, isn't it? But anyway, there we go. Quite a good data set to have, I would have thought. Right, now weirdly enough, you might have seen the news as well last week that Specialized have also launched their first ever 3D printed saddle. Weirdly enough, teaming up with exactly the same California-based company. Specialized are claiming that theirs will improve the comfort of your sit bones, reduce soft tissue pressure, and allow for penile blood flow.
Oh, I'm in.
Now, there you are. Now, back to Physique, because they haven't stopped there with the 3D printed saddle. They've actually just launched a new range of short nose saddles called the Argo. 2 styles. They've got the race-oriented Vento, and then the more endurance-focused Tempo version there.
Both of them, as you can see, feature quite a wide cutout in the middle and a broader platform for your sit bones. And the Tempo uses Physique's proprietary Type 2 foam, which gives more padding over those ischial tuberosities.
Oh. Now, all the way from Steamboat Springs, although slightly cleaner than when you last saw it. Yes, significantly cleaner. It's the all-new Stages Dash L50 head unit, okay? So this was released a couple of weeks back now. It features an ever-bright screen with genuinely really impressive resolution on there. It's also got cycling-specific open street maps on there, which means that not only do you get the extra detail for cyclists, you also get to download anywhere in the world for free, which is a bonus. There's got a whole host of training and workout functions on there as well. Plus, there is an all-new Stages Link companion app too, so you can set it up easily from your phone. You can upload data wirelessly, amongst a whole host of other bits and bobs as well.
Got a much larger screen, hasn't it, than the current model, the M50?
That's right, yeah.
And actually a correspondingly increased number of data field options. And it's also got a larger battery, which apparently will last up to 14 hours.
Yeah, there you go. Right, now, of course, as we've said, Jon and Ollie are out in Eurobike, so for more tech, do make sure you check out the videos that they're sending back. And also, check out our Facebook page and also Instagram as well for cheeky little nuggets from the ground.
Screw riding upgrades, buy upgrades. Do American accent badly. So
screw riding upgrades, buy upgrades. Cha-ching!
It is time now for screw riding upgrades, buy upgrades.
Nice, yes, that's right. So it's that part of the show where we get to pick over 2 amazing bike projects where they've been pimped and preened with some fantastic upgrades. You then get to decide which one is the best. The winner gets a GCN Camelback Eddy water bottle. Should we start with some results, Dan?
Yes, go on then. Who's won from last week?
Well, so last week you had Audrey from Canada and Joseph from Hertfordshire winning with a staggering 90% of the vote.
Wow.
Yeah, Audrey with that stunning Scott paintwork.
Well, I have to say that is thoroughly deserved. Just had a quick look back at last week's tech show and it looked pretty amazing.
It does indeed, yeah. Get in touch on Facebook, Audrey, and we will arrange delivery of your bottle.
Okay. Right, you ready for this week's 2 to pick from?
Yeah, mate.
First up, in the blue corner, we have this from Matt in Leicestershire. You picked up this Principia Elite. I had a Principia back in 2003. Love that bike. It's from around 2002 for a winter bike in 2010 and treated it like one until this year. Decided to give it a makeover and get it looking good again. Stripped and sent to Colourburn Dr. Bobby for a full custom paint job before finishing with Physique parts, camper chorus and DT Swiss 65 wheels to end up like this.
Ooh, nice.
That reminds me of...
It does, doesn't it?
Oh, that Villia.
Yeah, that looks to me like that's no longer a Principia, that's a Principilia.
Yes, but looks great though.
It does look fantastic.
Slammed.
Very slammed.
Negative stem. I do like the look of that one, I have to say.
I like the look of that.
Along with the Villia, it's got an Italian flag on it. Principia's from Denmark, isn't it?
I believe so. So yeah, but you know, why not just paint your old bike like the bike that you want to buy?
Yeah.
You know, that's cool, and it's a nice font. That Principia font, isn't it?
Principilia
font,
Right,
yeah.
tell us who's in the red corner.
Okay, in the red corner we have this, which is from Ander in Vitoria in Spain, rather. So Ander had an old 97 Megamo built with Tang Ultimate steel tubing, TIG welded. He was using it as a daily commuter with an 8-speed Shimano 105 group set, flat handlebars, and Vuelta airline wheels. But things were about to change, Dan. And change they did, and upgraded it with a full Campy 10-speed record group set, carbon crankset, titanium sprockets, 11 to 23.
Whoa!
And the wheels are Shimano, Campy Shimano wheels, Sella Italia Turbomatic saddle, and a Campy Ergo Brain cycle computer.
Yeah.
Wow.
And no doubt 21mm tyres pumped up till they're rock hard.
Yes.
Right?
You know what? I quite like the flat bar version.
Yeah, I like the new one as well.
No, the new one is super cool. That's
those
like
wheels,
amazing.
they take me back.
Yeah.
I had a mate that had them back when they were sort of current, and I was so jealous.
Yeah, that is cool. And also that edition Campy record, that was cool, wasn't it? I mean, those levers were so far ahead of the competition. Getting rid of the cables. Oh.
Megamo Mortirolo. Right, well,
That
it's
is
up
cool,
to
isn't
you
it?
to decide, not us. You can decide yourselves by clicking the top right-hand corner, which actually is this side for us, I think, isn't it? Decide who wins this week, and they will get this GCN Camelback water bottle. See what's up next?
No, we don't need to, mate. It's time for the bike vault, isn't it?
Right.
So it's that part of the show where we get the brilliant task of looking through fantastic photos that have been sent in from the viewers of their bikes, okay? And then we get to rate them. They're either rather nice or splendid.
Do you get anything if it's splendid?
Yes. We ring a bell. Good point.
Wow, this sounds brilliant. I can't wait. Where's the bell?
Ah. Post-it note. Thanks, John. Right then. Should we crack on with rather nice or splendid?
Yes, let's do that. We are going to start with this one from Mike over in Wyoming in the USA. Do we have to do accents again? No, probably not, surely. This is a Look 765, Shimano Ultegra group set, Vision wheels, Conti 5000 tyres, FSA bars and seat poster, Celitalia saddle, and Look pedals.
I'm liking that, mate. That is a very pretty looking bike.
I don't know if it's splendid though, is it?
Well, I don't know. I can't really fault it. I love the wheels. I quite like that bar tape, you know, two-tone bar tape.
Well, I'm going with rather nice.
Why? Why is that not splendid?
It just doesn't quite do it for me.
Does it not? Whoa.
Aren't you supposed to have the valves at the top, not the bottom as well?
Ooh, that is picky.
Well, I only know because when I do a pro bike and I don't do that, the comments go wild.
Well, fair enough. Lordy says rather nice, so I'm not going to ring that bell.
Okay.
I'm really sorry about that.
Can we go with rather splendid?
No, can't. I'm sorry, Mike. Lloydie's decreed.
What's next?
Well, James from Irvine in California has sent in this.
The War-mobile.
Wow-mobile. Wow Velomobile, in fact. So this looks a little bit like one of those recumbents that Hank was riding.
Looks fast.
The other day. Doesn't it look? That looks like 200 watts at 40k an hour kind of job. That is insane. Possibly a bit on the warm side.
200 watts at 40k's an hour. That looks like 60k's an hour at 200 watts to me.
It does look
bullet.
slippery. It does.
Even I could go fast in that thing.
Very shiny bullet as well. I think you might be able to go quickly in that.
Deciding whether this is rather nice or splendid, it's basically down to your take on recumbents, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's difficult because I can't see a single valve on there. I don't know what position the cranks are at.
No, exactly, yeah. How are we supposed to judge this?
Well, I think basically it's got to be splendid, isn't it, if you can't see the cranks or the valves?
Okay, well, it does look like a bullet, so let's go for it. They normally go for way longer than that. They really interrupt us doing the GCN show sometimes. Next up, we have this from Sebastien in Monnier in France. Rough Cycles Simiens. How do you say that?
Smiens.
Smins V4. Handmade in Germany, anyway. Sorry I can't pronounce what
Wow!
it is. That reminds me a little bit of the bike that I had to do the eBay challenge on over in Outer Badia.
Yeah, but look at that.
I mean, it does look a bit nicer than my Schwinn, I have to say.
It looks like a weapon. Look at that, like, bit below the bottom bracket, which you can't really say is a bottom bracket because it's not at the bottom. There's like a spike. That's insane. That's utterly bonkers.
Well, again, it can't be splendid. No cranks level there. Where are the valves?
Mate, come on. That is a splendid bicycle.
I'll go on then.
That is splendid. Congratulations, Sebastian. That was on Splendid Smins version 4. Right, next up we've got this one from Robert in the border between Romania and Serbia. This is his Merida 500. Oh, that's a nice photograph, isn't it?
Well, could enter to GCN inspiration, but I think this is all about the bike, isn't it?
Yeah, but
does the background matter?
But that's a pleasing photo, and it's a lovely looking bike too. I can't fault it, mate. I literally can't fault it. That's great. Come on.
There's no way I'm giving that a splendid. No way.
Why not? I mean, mate, that is the definition of a splendid bike vault photograph. You can't beat it.
Okay, go on then.
Come on.
Next up,
Splendid.
This is from Peter near Manchester. Ribble Sportive, Ultegra Brooks Cambium saddle, new Dura Ace wheels and Grand Prix 5000s from Continental. And also, wait, look, that's a Caterham 7 in the background. It looks to be a 2010 S3 version. That's exactly what I was going to say. But we should ignore the car because I know even less about them than I do about bikes.
Looks like your poor bike's about to get run over.
Caterhams, like kit cars, I think, aren't they quite fast?
Yeah, anyway, the bike could probably take the Caterham.
Back to the bike. Not too sure about the red bar tape.
No, I appreciate the matching tape around the seat post to make sure your saddle's not slipping. That's quite a nice touch now.
Yeah, and the red valve caps as well.
Oh, I noticed that.
I just don't really like them. so sorry. That's just rather nice. Right, that's the end of that.
What a damn squib to end on, mate. They are never going to invite us back.
Well, that was kind of my idea, really.
Not even during Eurobike next year, they'll be like, oh God, there's no one left. We've got our sign down again. They'll be literally like, no, just stay away. We're not going to have a tech show this week.
We did 2, maybe 3 Splendids, I think, then. That's fine.
We did. I thought they were cracking, to be fair. In fact, I was pretty tempted to Splendid all of them.
I bet the audience is going to love this. Let us know if you want us to come back next week.
God. Oh, man. You've asked for it now, mate. Oh, God.
No, that's it. We're all done.
Really?
I think so, according to the notes.
Okay, well that is the end of the tech show for this week. You probably all breathe a sigh of relief if you haven't switched off already, but if you are still with us, thanks. Yeah. Thanks for that.
Yeah. And if you've really enjoyed this week's GCN Tech Show, please give it the thumbs up just down below.
Yeah, normal service will resume. Jon and Ollie will be back, of course, from Eurobike. And if you're missing them at the moment, or if you just want to see the amazing new tech on offer, then do make sure you check out all the great videos that are on the tech channel at the moment.
But in the meantime, if you'd like to see more of me and Si, the GCN Show is just here. This could really backfire.
Yeah, good.